Greetings, welcome again. Here we go, another video. Today we're going to be talking about how the narcissist sees your gullibility as proof to be mistreated. Okay? And what I want to speak about on this is the fact that a lot of people will continue to deal with these individuals even though they are not reciprocating in any way the type of treatment or whatever you give to them, right? And so we're gonna get into this. So when you deal with the narcissist and you fail to figure them out, right? The narcissists they confuse this type of transaction, this type of interaction. They'll confuse it as them having more wisdom and intelligence over you, right? Their ability to manipulate, their ability to lie, trick, and deceive people makes the narcissist feel like they're more clever, they're smarter, they're more intelligent, right? Which gives them that superior, makes them feel more superior, makes them feel omnipotent. And they take this as wisdom. This is what they see as their wisdom. This is how they see that they're smarter than you because they're using these tactics of, lying and deceit and duplicity. And you're not necessarily catching on to it. They're not playing fair from the start. They're playing a very dirty game, right? And when we don't understand this, we're the stupid ones, is how they see it. And narcissists have an array of shit tests that they like to start people off with to try to see just how suitable a victim they are. And this is it's done in different ways, but over the course of your knowing of the narcissist, they will throw certain things out at you to see how you respond. If you do not respond in the way you should respond, nip it in the bud right there. The first time you see someone trying to shit test you, you have to nip that in the bud. You have to let it be known, look, I see what you're doing. I'm not going for that shit, and I'm done. Period. There's no second chances after that. A shit test behind the motive of the shit test, at least, is a lot of other things that go or get carried out from that particular type of situation, meaning that the individual has other things that are hidden ulterior motives that are behind that you're not going to want to deal with a person like that anyway. This is the first sign of playing games. And man, people have to understand that narcissists are predators. I say this all the time. And they relentlessly hunt new victims. And I know in this community, people associate the people that narcissists deal with as supply, but in reality, they're victims. They're victims of these predators who aim to take advantage of unsuspecting people, and basically many of these narcs, I'll just throw this out there, they're sexual predators as well, preying on the vulnerable and the weak. And the thing about it is, this is starting with, and I've said this before, with society starting to sensationalize these behaviors, these narcissistic behaviors. It is creating and it is conditioning a lot of people to embrace the bad narcissistic traits of what these individuals, what the narcissistic personality disorder at least entails. And see, the narcissist sees your compliance and willingness to continuously stick around and put up with the abuse from them as proof that you're the one that's deranged and defective and therefore deserving of such treatment. Now we have to look at this again. Narcissists are playing a very dirty game, a very unfair game from the beginning. They're not making their true motives known. They're not showing what they're really about, that they're really against you, that they're really, there to use you and take advantage of you, to exploit you. They're not coming off that way. They're coming off as someone who wants to be with you, who wants to build with you, who loves you, who has all these different types of goals and stuff like that and so forth that they want to pursue with you. And this is how they paint they sell you a dream, basically. And narcissists, by default, they have to abuse the supply or victims. Why? Because they have already made sure that you were suitable to begin with. And they did this through, by grooming you ever so subtle over a period of time to see just where your breaking point is and how they can break you down. And when you hand over your trust to a narcissist, it's basically at that moment that you've signed a nonverbal contract to be violated. Your trust to a narcissist is the green light to begin the process of abuse. Why do narcissists rely on your trust so heavily? Well, it gives them, the power over you. Your trust gives them, it's basically giving them the key to your inner being. It's your trust in them that blinds you to their true intentions and ulterior motives towards you. Trust is very powerful. This is how most of them get to continue their cycle of abuse with you and from person to person to person, because they're trusting a predator. There's no sign that lights up when you run into one of these individuals that say, hey, I am a predator. I will hurt you. There's nothing that says that. But if you see them as that, the moment you start to see someone deliberately trying to hurt you, deliberately trying to exploit you, deliberately trying to manipulate you, in your mind should pop up, I am a predator and I will hurt you. That's what should pop up in your mind the moment you see someone doing something like that to you. You see, part of the test, these shit tests, is to reveal at selective times, it reveals very negative and unappealing traits of their real nature and character to you, to see how you respond to it. Again, this is part of the grooming. If they show some unfavorable traits that you don't like and you end up putting up with it, and a lot of these things, they get worse and worse as time goes on. It'll be something small initially, then later it'll be something bigger, then a little bit bigger, then a little, until it gets to being major. And at this point, you've put up with it so much, well, the narcissist can pretty much dance around and make all these moves, and you will still be accepting of this type of behavior. This gives them an idea of just how blinded and charmed or bedazzled you are for them. Major power and ego stroke for the narcissist. And they look at it, basically, they look at the situation as going according to plan. If you're responding favorably to it, even if you put up a little fight, that's not good enough. Putting up a little fight, putting up a little resistance doesn't get it. It doesn't get it. It doesn't do anything with them because you're still around. You're still there. The narcissist derives great pleasure in breaking someone down, basically over a period of time. They like doing things. They like doing that. It proves how powerful and omnipotent they are. But in their minds, it also proves how stupid you are. And to not see or understand what they're doing to you, and that's just like, well, they deserve this. Because anybody who was in their right mind, anybody who wasn't messed up themselves, wouldn't deal with this, is what the narcissist says in their head. They see it as you being so needy and wanting or deserving to be with them that you're willing to put up or do anything to keep them. And again, you prove this by still wanting to be with them, by still cooperating, by still sticking in there. The narcissist knows they don't really want you or have any real intentions on being with you, and are different to they're indifferent, at least. They're indifferent to the outcome of the situation. And yet you can't see it or haven't figured them out. Well, then you're stupid to the narcissist. And I don't want to, I don't want to sound to be mean or come off, so harsh with this or so blunt, but it is what it is. This is what they're seeing. This is what's in their heads. You can't see that they're full of shit. The narcissist, basically in their minds, they say, well, you're no better than them. In fact, you're less than them to deal with this stuff. And they said, well, you're probably fake and defective as well. Look how I've reduced you to nothing. If you were anything better or greater than that, you would have never allowed yourself to go that low. But there's two sides to that. And you see, the other side is that the narcissist was never playing fair from the get-go. And they don't look at that. Because they don't look at their trickery, their deception, they don't look at that as being unethical. They count that as superior intelligence. They play any kind of way that they can play to get a win. And that's the problem. And then they look at you and say, oh, if you were everything that you say you were, you wouldn't allow yourself to be abused by me, says the narcissist. I'll tell y'all this. You want to show them something, you want to put an end to that, you stop cooperating with them. You stop giving your power to them. And you prove to the narcissist that you do have worth, that you do love yourself, that you are not dumb, by cutting their asses off for good. And that's all to be said. Anyway, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Comment. Also, the Departure of Empathy 2 is going to be coming out really soon. I'm going to release a trailer here coming up, and you'll be able to get a glimpse. And if you would like to get a copy of it, I'll make that information available too as well. And that's the Departure of Empathy 2 documentary that I have. Departure of Empathy 1 is available still. You can click the link in the description box if you haven't seen that. So if you do want to get that and then want to follow up with Departure of Empathy 2, make sure you go into the description box, click the link, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, enjoy yourselves, everyone. Take care.